Hi, it's Elle Phoenix. One of my friends asked me last night, Elle, I heard what you said and I've read a lot of your books about how people heal and get over abuse. But how do you do it? How do you forgive? And I said, my friend, I gotta think about it. I gotta pray on it and walk and talk with God about it, because sometimes I don't know how to forgive either. And I thought about it a lot this morning, and the best thing that I can say to you is you don't need to forgive yet if you're not ready to. And when you are ready to, the first person that you need to forgive is yourself. I know that sounds crazy to so many of us, but the truth is most of us blame ourselves for whatever happened to us. We blame ourselves for getting into whatever situation that we got into that led to us getting hurt. We all blame ourselves. You know why we do that? I finally figured out. We do that because we're trying to regain some kind of control that we didn't have in whatever situation that we're in. You see it all the time in rape victims. And we all, not you and me, but the media, the institutions that exist, the legal institutions, the colleges, etc., tend to blame the victim. They say she should not have been in that situation. She put herself in that situation before she was taken advantage of. We spend all this time educating women how to prevent getting raped and how to prevent getting hurt. And we don't put the focus on where it should be, which is teaching the men how not to hurt the woman. So we, as women who have been raped and abused, buy into this nonsense that somehow we could have done something to change the outcome. We do it also for those of us who were abused as children. We are all seeking to not only fix what happened to us, but we're trying to seek control. So we try to look back on what happened to us and we try to say, well, if I would have done this, it wouldn't have happened. But friends, the only thing that you can control now is how you feel. The only thing that you can control is how good you feel in your own shoes. The only thing that you can control is how safe you feel. Who you surround yourself with has a lot to do with how safe you feel. So one of the things that a lot of us keep coming back to is we think that we have to not only forgive, and that's where a lot of us get hung up on, because we think we have to forgive what happened to us, and then we think that we have to go back to the way things used to be before we came to terms with whatever happened to us. So in other words, we think that when we forgive being hurt, being abused, whether it's by our families or whether it's by a stranger or whether it's by a job situation or whether it's by an ex-friend or whether it's by a complete stranger, we think that when we forgive, we're giving up control somehow and that we are going to be back in the same situation that we were in when we got hurt. But see, here's the thing. When and if we're ready to forgive ourselves for something that we never even did, but we still need to forgive ourselves because we're still blaming ourselves so many times. When we finally let go of that hurt that we're holding on to, where we blame ourselves, then we regain control of our feelings. But listen to me. Once we forgive, we do not need to relinquish control, nor do we need to go back to whatever situation that we were in. So if you've got a spouse or a domestic partner who's been abusing you or has abused you, and you've finally come to terms with the abuse, just forgiving it does not mean that you need to put yourself back in that situation, friends. And the same thing is true to all of you with your little children that are aching and beaten up and hurting inside, those of you who were abused, those of you who were raped and hurt as kids and violated. Listen to me. Forgiving has nothing to do with the people that hurt you as far as how it affects them. Forgiving is just letting go. But it never ever means that you need to allow the people that hurt you back into your lives with an opportunity to hurt you again. It just means that you pick up that broken little self that you are. I call my little inner child little L. I pick up little L. I make sure that she knows that she's okay and that she's safe. I tell her that whatever happened to us was in the past and we're safe now, and nothing bad's ever going to happen to us again. And even if something bad does happen, we're going to be okay because we're strong. We have all the tools that we need to get through it. But I never tell little Elle that she's got to get over it. And I never tell myself that I have to get over it. Forgiveness has nothing to do with giving up control. I keep repeating that because something in my soul just isn't hearing it, and I'm figuring you might be the same way. I am still so scared of giving up control. I'm so scared of getting hurt again in any situation by anyone that's ever hurt me before. But just by forgiving the things that happened to me does not mean that I ever have to put myself in a situation where I can be abused or hurt or misused again. See, I'm an adult now. I'm a 44-year-old woman. You're probably about the same age as me, right? You never have to put yourself in a situation that you're not comfortable with. You do not have to go to that family gathering. You do not have to accept anything that is offered to you, whether it's an expectation, a gift, a phone call, a check, or even an offer to talk on the telephone from someone that you don't want to talk to. You still have control. I keep talking about control because forgiving is actually all about taking control of your own situation. It's when you're able to forgive yourself for the things that other people did to you, as crazy as that sounds, that you start taking control of your own feelings. And if you are able and willing and ready to forgive the people that hurt you, that's fine. It does not mean that you need to let them back into a situation where they can ever hurt you again. Don't feel that you're unsafe just because you extend to yourself the gift of forgiving things that happen to you. Because it is a gift, friends. When you let go of the pain that grips you and sits in your heart like a tight rubber band that's pressing down on it all the time, when you forgive, when you let go of that, you regain control, and you never, ever need to relinquish control again. I don't want to necessarily talk to you about the scriptural basis for forgiveness. Because, Jesus said that his one commandment to us was to love one another. But he also said in the Bible that we're supposed to love one another as we love ourselves. The neat thing about that is it says that we're supposed to love ourselves. And we tend to miss that. We tend not to understand that. But to really love other people, we're supposed to love them as we love ourselves, which means those of us who've been beaten and abused, we're supposed to love ourselves. We're supposed to embrace ourselves. That is the fundamental thing. It's why I liked Walt Whitman's song to myself so much. Walt Whitman is all about singing a song that celebrates your own soul. That's what I love so much about that kind of mystic poetry, is it tells you to look inward for your strength and inward for the key to your own healing. And Jesus was telling us the same exact thing, that we are supposed to love ourselves and then love one another as we love ourselves. So when we try to do something like forgive someone else, it all starts within us. It all starts with changing the way that our souls feel. And loving ourselves always means to protect ourselves and make sure that we're in a safe situation. That's always been the hardest thing for me as I've been going through the process of recovery and trying to help other people with it, is there's even a suggestion to some of us that you should forgive feels like a threat. And it took me so long to figure out why. That's why I'm talking about it today. It's because forgiveness feels like you're giving up control. But forgiving, when it starts with this radical love and it involves forgiving yourself first, is actually regaining control. Because it's saying that no matter what happened to me, I still know that I am precious, that I am beloved, that I am wonderful, that I have a bit of God in me. We all have a piece of God's DNA in us. We all have what we need to love ourselves and to love one another. It's already inside ourselves. And when we can see that light that lives inside of us, we can live in that light and walk in that light, which is another way of saying loving one another as we love ourselves. Forgiveness, my friends, is not scary. Don't ever think that you need to give up any control over what is going on in your life for even a second, because you're safe now, you're an adult now, you're in control, and you can set the terms of any relationship that you're in with anyone else. It's hard when you don't feel like you can do that as a kid. You never learn, or you think you're never going to learn to do that as an adult, but I'm here to tell you that you can. You don't have to take phone calls. You don't have to meet with people. You don't have to follow whatever institutional frameworks exist, whether they be family or church or work. You can set your own institutional framework, because your institution starts within you, with your own soul. And no one can take that away from you. No one can make you do anything that you are not comfortable doing. When I think about forgiveness, I don't feel afraid anymore. And that's the main thing that no one should have to feel. Loving someone else should not bring you fear. And forgiving someone else should not make you feel afraid that that is somehow going to make you less or make you less safe. I love you very much. I'm certain that everything is going to be okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.